I'll take a day to you this day of your time. How are you all? Oh, hey, thank you. Now, once again, we would like to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank each and every one of you, and all of you together collectively, who are participating in the co-creation of this transmission. Once again, each and every time you are willing to participate in this kind of communication, it forms not only a link and a bridge between your world, your frequency, your dimension, your reality, and ours, but also by creating such a link, it creates a new dimension, a new reality, a new vibration that will grow and change and become a space, become a reality in which we can one day both interact more and more directly. So we thank you for the co-creation of this new space, of this new reality in which we all shall together participate. Let us begin this day of your time, this transmission, by calling this communication permission slips. Let us talk about permission slips. What are permission slips? Well, the idea we would like to share with you this day of your time is that many times we hear in conversations with many of you questions and discussions of different kinds of tools, rituals, books, information. And we are often asked, does this tool work? What about this ritual? What is the best way to do this? What is the best way to do that? Now, we have often discussed, of course, the notion that for each and every one of you individually, because each and every one of you is a distinct signature vibration, that obviously whatever tool, ritual, idea, information you attract to yourself is, by definition, at that moment, the one that will work best for you. Because it is keyed, it is matched to your frequency. That's why you attracted it. So even if the very next day you attract something different, if it is that attraction, the product of the change in your frequency, and you trust the synchronicity of your life having brought that to you, then even if it is different than what you were doing the day before, it is at that moment the perfect tool for you. Because you attracted it with your frequency, like vibration to like vibration. But in talking about all of these different techniques, tools, rituals, meditations, books, information, what have you, there is something very important to understand about all these things. Be they ideas or artifacts, doesn't matter. What they really simply are permission slips that you give to yourself to be who you are. The power does not exist in those objects, in those rituals. No real effect per se comes from them. Now, we understand, of course, that in physical reality, when something is crystallized in a physical way, of course it has its own attributes. Such things as crystals are obviously representative of certain kinds of energy patterns, yes. But nevertheless, the point is that regardless of what attribute the object or idea or technique or tool itself may have inherently, the idea is that it still doesn't really create any effect within you or do anything for you unless you choose to match the frequency of the idea it symbolizes for you. So you are generating the effect yourself out of your own energy, but what you are doing is you are relying on your belief system, which sometimes can be unconscious, to attract to you the symbol that best reflects the vibration within you. that will allow you permission to be yourself. We understand that many times some of the belief systems and ideas and definitions that you are brought up believing in on your planet will create certain notions and patterns within you that makes it seem as if you do not have the ability to be who you say you wish to be. That there are obstacles or challenges in your way that seem to prevent you sometimes, as we hear it from you, from really becoming the full person you wish to be, from really having the full passionate life you wish to have. This is not empirically true, but we understand that if you have a belief system that says it is that way, then for you it is true. Because even though there is no real empirical physical reality, your experience of physical reality is real. That is the only thing that is real. Experience is the reality, not the reality you think you're experiencing, just the experience itself. And when you gravitate toward, attract yourself to, or attract to you, some particular idea of information, some particular technique of delivery, even including this idea of channeling, or some object such as a crystal, or some book, or some ritual, or some meditation, all of those things are just a portion of yourself writing you a permission slip to let you finally be in a space that's safe for you to really express your abilities, to be more of who you are. The things themselves do nothing for you. You are doing it all. But if you feel you need an excuse to do it, a permission slip from the universe to do it, then that's what all of these tools and techniques are for. You attract what reflects the belief system within you that makes it seem as if the technique is giving you the ability to do what you want to do, but you're simply giving it to yourself. You are giving yourself permission through the symbol to be more of who you are. So please remember that when and if, at any time, you have a question in your head, what technique is the best for this? What tool should I use? All the things you're ever going to find, all the things you're ever going to have recommended to you, all the things you're ever going to be attracted to are really nothing more than a variation of a permission slip that you are giving to yourself to reveal to yourself, through the particular symbology of that slip, what kind of pattern exists, or what kind of belief system exists, or what kind of definition exists within your consciousness. And in knowing that, in going into the ritual, in using the tool or the technique with that in mind, you can empower yourself that much more rapidly, that much more powerfully, that much more thoroughly by recognizing that even though you may feel at this moment that you need that tool, need that technique in order to have what you want, in order to be who you wish to be, you can then now at this point understand it is you simply doing this by having given yourself permission to let it be all right in some kind of context that your belief system can relate to, so that you will remove any reason not to be yourself. Now, ultimately, you will understand that if this is what these things are, if they are nothing but permission slips, then certainly, as you grow, as you learn, as you expand, you will realize that any technique, any tool will work, will do the same thing, that they're all valid in that context, they're all equal, one is not better than another, and in general, you will also arrive at a point where you will realize that you don't really need them to simply make a change within yourself just because that's what you wish to do. You will simply shortcut the process, not need the technique, not need the tool. You will simply say, well, I'll just choose. I will just choose to be that way. I will just choose to be that state of being. I don't need any other tool, any other technique, other than the recognition that what I choose will be so. What I choose is up to me. And if I wish to attract a technique or tool to myself, because I feel it is fun, because I feel it will give me a reason to do what I wish to do, be who I wish to be, well, all well and good, so be it. But knowing that will eventually eliminate the need for the tool itself. Because you are the primary tool, you are the primary technique. Now, we are going to cover more of the ideas I'm about to speak about in what you call tomorrow's transmission as well. But we're going to lay some foundations here and now for that. The next thing we would like to bring up in connection and in conjunction with this idea of permission slips is how to allow this concept to sink in more deeply and how to form a relationship more clearly and more consciously with what many of you have for a long time called your higher self. This mysterious higher self. Where is it? Don't know. Is he up there? Is she over there? Don't know. How high? This high? This high? Don't know. What is the higher self? Thank you. Let's address this. So you have some definitions to work with, which again are nothing but what? Permission slips. That's all we're delivering here. Everything we say, everything we deliver to you is nothing but another form of permission slip. Take which one works for you. The ones that don't work for you, let them be. Now, let's go into a little bit more detail. Higher self. All right. Most of you are familiar with the idea that you have a physical consciousness, a personality as a physical being that you relate to as yourself, so to speak. But then there is this mysterious idea of the higher self. Simply put, most of you understand, or at least intuit, that the so-called higher self, well, is relatively non-physical. Even more simply put, you could say that there is a vibrational frequency just above physical reality, just beyond physical reality, in which resides what you might refer to as a template for physical reality, or upon which you construct your physical experience. It is in that template level, just beyond the physical threshold, that the higher self exists. Now, please do not confuse the idea of higher self with oversoul or spirit or what have you. Higher self is a specific idea that is like a version of the person you are in physical reality, but a version that has a broader perspective, a broader point of view. It's like having a twin standing on a mountaintop while one is also standing in the valley. And they can communicate with each other. And the higher self can say, I see you walking down the road, and I see that there is, well, a little bit of a ditch up ahead, so if you walk this way and walk that way, you'll avoid it. And the one in the valley going, oh, thank you very much. This is, very simply put, the relationship between the two. It is you with a higher perspective, a broader perspective, a bigger picture, without the complications that can arise from the personality construct's belief system. So the higher self is like a guiding principle, a governing principle, so to speak, that is a part of your complex as a person, but is the non-physical component that acts as the conduit to even higher versions of your soul, of your being, of your spirit, but also acts as the intermediary between those higher levels and the physical personality construct, and can distill information from the higher spirit and soul over soul levels in a way that your personality can understand. So the higher self functions like a translator, taking the information from the higher levels and bringing it down to earth in a way that can communicate to the personality effectively. However, because of some of the belief systems that exist within the personality structure on your planet, there has been confusion as to exactly how to form a clear communication line to the higher self. So let's make something very, very clear. This may sound a little bit surprising, but that's all right. Surprises are good. There are 3 levels here in this idea. It might surprise you to know, as personality constructs, as physical minds, you do not conceive of any ideas. What do I mean? The personality does not conceive of concepts. It perceives concepts. It does not conceive them. Here are the 3 levels. The higher self conceives. The physical brain receives. The personality mind perceives. That's all it does. Any idea, any inspiration, any imagination you have ever had doesn't come from the physical mind portion of you. It comes from the higher self portion of you. Through the receiver, the brain, and is translated by the brain into a vibration that the physical mind then perceives as a reflected reality. One more time, because this is crucial to understand. You don't conceive of any ideas as a physical mind. That's not what the physical mind is designed to do. It cannot create ideas. It can only perceive the result of an idea from the higher self. Now, this may sound at first somewhat limiting, but in fact, it's very, very freeing, because you can all stop thinking. You can all stop thinking you're in charge. You can all stop thinking you have to think of everything. You can all stop thinking that you're the one guiding the ship. You're not. You are just looking at the road. You're just experiencing the path that you, the whole you, is creating. But the reason you get into trouble, the reason you feel stuck as a physical mind, is because you've been taught to believe that the physical mind is the one coming up with all this stuff. And it's not. So when you try to manipulate it, it doesn't work, because the physical mind is not designed to actually create those concepts. It is only designed to perceive the effect of the creation of those concepts through the receiver, the physical brain. Now, here's also what happens. And again, this is an important distinction. Physical mind cannot perceive how something happens. It can only perceive how something happened. One more time. It's a very important distinction, and I'll explain. Physical mind does not have the capacity to perceive how something happens. It can only perceive how something happened. But because the physical mind thinks it's coming up with these things, it then takes what happened and assumes that that's how things happen. And it's not. It's only what happened that time. And it thinks, well, if I do that again, I can make this happen. I can make that happen. No. You might get some degree of repetitional success with that philosophy, but it will never go beyond the parameters of what you observed in that particular happenstance. Because what happened was designed to allow that particular thing to happen. And that particular thing doesn't necessarily require the same ingredients as something else. So when you may want something else to happen, when you may want to expand on what happened, you cannot use the same ingredients that made that happen, because then all you'll do is repeat the cycle and wonder why you're not getting anywhere. You have to allow the connection to your own higher self to be the one that will allow you to experience the reality that comes from the higher self, because the higher self is the only part of you that actually knows how things happen, because it's on the mountaintop. It has the broader perspective. It can see what's coming. It can orchestrate. You're in the valley as a physical being. From the physical perspective, your view is somewhat limited. But the idea is it doesn't matter. As we will discuss and point out, and as many of you have heard in The Secret, all you really need to do, to use the analogy they use of driving your car, is see the road just a few hundred feet ahead. You don't have to see the road all the way from your beginning to your destination. That's the higher self's point of view. So you don't have to know exactly how you're going to get there. All you need to know as the physical side of the personality mind is where you're at right now. The higher self will tell you, keep going. Turn left. Turn right. You're going to get there quicker this way. You're going to get there quicker that way. You need to stop for now. You need to take a rest. You need to take a bathroom break. Then get back in your car and keep going. That comes from the higher self portion of the total being that you are as a person, as a persona. But the physical mind aspect of the personality does not have the capacity to understand how things happen. So, stop trying to figure it out, because you never will as a physical person. Only as a higher self expression, when you are in communication and allowing that communication to occur, will you then be able to take advantage of knowing how it's going to happen, but the physical mind will not know how it's going to happen. This is using the invisible to your advantage. And this is why you talk about such things as, well, you just have to take it on faith. No, you don't. It's really about knowing and understanding the nature of your actual existence, understanding the structure of the relationship, understanding how it is you have arranged yourself as a consciousness, and then simply using it in the same way that you use a telephone, a light switch, or any other device. It's simply a matter of understanding the nature of it, and then taking advantage of using the nature of it, and using the power of the invisible, because it's very, very solid. Just because your physical mind can't perceive it, can't perceive the how of it, and how this is all happening, doesn't mean it cannot receive the benefit of how it's all happening. But in order to really do that as fully as you possibly can, you must drop the assertion and the assumption that the physical mind needs to know how everything works. Because it never, ever will. It's not designed to. And this allows you to lighten up your load, stop carrying so much baggage, stop trying to do your higher self's job, and just do your own. That's why so many of you are so tired when you are trying to do certain things in a certain way. It's because you're trying to do a job you weren't designed to do. That's exhausting. Stop. You were not hired to do that job. Your higher self already has the job, and it's working for you perfectly. Work with it. Work with it. Not against it, by trying to do the job it was designed to do. Just do the job you were designed to do, which is perceive what has happened and allow yourself to know that what has happened can be used by you to your advantage by maintaining positive meaning from your belief system into it. Allowing yourself to do that as physical mind is what will keep the communication lines open. Acting on your passion, acting on your excitement, always putting positive meaning into whatever happens is what will keep the lines open to your higher self to receive the communication, to know that you can take the next step, and the next step, and the next step, and the next step, because whatever it is that does happen will always allow you to take the next step, no matter what it is, as long as you relate to it in the appropriate way as a physical mind, and don't attempt to relate to it in an inappropriate way as a higher mind yourself. Let the higher mind come through you and relate to it, but don't try to do the higher mind's job for it. It will always, always be difficult for you to do because you're not designed to do that. So again, higher self conceives. Physical brain receives. Physical mind perceives. That's it. That is the totality of your persona in physical reality, with this connection to the level just above, vibrationally just above, what you call solid and tangible reality. Now, of course, to your oversoul, to your spirit, the higher self is actually quite solid, quite physicalized, quite a bit more dense vibrationally than you are when you are on the higher spirit level, on the oversoul level. It is, again, just above what you call the frequency of physical reality. We will go into this, as we say, in more detail, in more depth, tomorrow of your time. Also, what we will go into in more depth and in more detail tomorrow of your time is the concept that we have talked about many times, and you have heard from other places many times, but which we will now deliver in a different way. The concept of the difference between state of being and circumstances. And again, this ties into what we are saying. In a nutshell, as you say, the idea is to understand, as we have said in other ways, that circumstances do not determine your state of being. Your state of being determines your circumstances. Now, what's key here, though, is to understand once again that because of the way the personality mind has been taught to think of its job, it will often hear that statement as, oh, well then, if I get into this state of being, I will create circumstances that will be exactly reflective of what I prefer. And if I don't see those, something's wrong. This is what must be avoided, is the assumption that circumstances, that the appearance of circumstances mean anything. Again, remember, they are neutral. It's what you put into them from the state of being you choose to be in that determines the effect of the state of being of your life, the quality of who you are, the level of your passion, not what the reflection looks like. So, taking this a step further, beyond the idea, beyond the mechanistic connective statement of it's not circumstances that determine your state of being, it's state of being that determines your circumstances. Taking it a step further, you could actually help break that connection that doesn't serve you by restating this idea in a more definitive way. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. Now listen to the way that translates in your language. Circumstances don't matter. Don't materialize things. Only your state of being matters, materializes things. So, Circumstances don't matter. Only, underline, 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 only your state of being matters. Big, fat, period. Exclamation point. Close quotes. Parentheses, brackets.
But Bashar, I was wondering if you could tell me the significance.
One moment, what happened to hello and good day?
We do that over and over. I was trying to spare you.
I always do it for the first time.
Hello, Bashar.
And good day to you.
Thank you.
Now, what would you like to discuss?
I would like to know about, I had a sense back in the 90s that I was looking for something. It's just
Back when you were in your 90s?
back in the 1990s.
Oh, yes, I know.
And then
I'm just
I
having
recently
some fun with you.
And then I recently was shown something called the Vajra Ascension Channel in Berkeley, and I was wondering what the significance of that was to your purpose
The
here.
significance of it is that you have attracted yourself, based on the belief system that you hold to be true right now, to a permission slip that is harmoniously and vibrationally aligned with that belief system that you believe will allow you to give yourself more permission to be more of who you are.
But I discovered it, and it's what led me to all of these changes in my belief structures. I wasn't thinking
One permission slip may lead to another. You are a dynamically changing being. You will always attract yourself to another permission slip, a different permission slip, as is most representative at that moment of attraction to whatever changes in your belief system have happened to create you to be a different being at that moment, who is now attracted to a different permission slip.
And how many ascension channels are there in the United States?
Quite a few.
So this is regional for us.
It is international in its own way. But again, it is simply one kind of permission slip that is representative of a slice of the collective consensus agreement reality. And so many different people may find that it is advantageous for them to align with it for now. But they will move on to other things too.
So is the Ascension Channel specifically only for, like you said, only for some people?
Yes.
And is this separate from people who might be aligning with certain extraterrestrial craft? Is it
It can be similar, but it can be different. You have to take it on a case-by-case basis as to what the vibrational path is that each individual may require to discover what it is they have chosen to explore in this life.
Well, is everybody who's using the Ascension Channel, are they still associated with the spacecraft then?
No.
Then it's a dimensional shift channel?
All things are dimensional shifts. You're shifting through different parallel dimensional realities billions of times a second. It's about becoming aware that you're shifting billions of times a second and then having conscious awareness of shifting in the direction that is most representative of the frequency that you prefer, so that you can start experiencing a succession of different parallel versions of Earth that are more and more reflective and representative of the version of Earth that you prefer. You never change the world you're on. You shift to another world that's already more representative of the change you've made within yourself.
So is it a portal?
I beg your pardon?
Is the Vajra Ascension Channel a portal?
It can be used as a type of portal, as many permission slips can also be used.
And it doesn't have to be associated with extraterrestrial craft?
No, it does not.
And people who don't choose to use that may use extraterrestrial craft as an alternative path.
They may use that. They may use many different kinds of things as alternatives. It doesn't take away the fact that you're always shifting. That's a natural thing. You can't stop. You can't help it. That's just a description of the mechanism, of how you experience the concept of space and time and change and movement. That's what creates the side effect you call time and change, is that your consciousness, like a projector light through a strip of film going through different frames and projecting the illusion of change on a movie screen, Your consciousness is shifting through different frames of parallel realities billions of times per second, actually creating you to be a different person billions of times per second, and whatever you deem to be most relevant for you will be the vibration you will attract yourself to, the symbols that you will use, the permission slips that will be workable for you at that moment, and you will take yourself through a succession of different parallel realities that are more and more reflective every single moment of whatever changes and whatever direction the changes have taken within you. And it can be represented by any symbol that works for you. Does that make sense?
It does.
Does this help?
Yes. Can I ask a question about the Enneagram?
About?
The Enneagram. Enneagram.
The Enneagram.
Enneagram.
Yes.
So there's I feel karmically connected and seem to have memory back to the time of the Anunnaki.
Yes.
And
well, all of you have Anunnaki genetics, so that's not surprising.
Yeah. And the Anunnaki are kind of at the center bottom position.
Yes.
And then I've been studying with Drinvalo Melchizedek, and he's saying that our future parents are the Syrians, but on this Enneagram, there's the Syrians on the left, and then there's the Arcturians and the Pleiadians. So different people are taking different paths?
Yes, of course. If there was only one path, there would only be one person. Look around.
So how many, but you only have 3, but there could be infinite paths, so.
Yes, of course, but what we were describing were general, overriding, collective consciousness vibrations. That's like saying we described 3 different schools to you, but how many students go to those schools and are taking different kinds of courses? You understand?
Yeah.
The Enneagram is not meant to differentiate the individual pathways. It's meant to simply give an overview of the general energies that you are incorporating within the growth and the expansion of your consciousness that are already contained within your genetic makeup.
So, should I focus on the Syrians since he mentioned that?
Should you? I don't know. You tell me.
Well,
what excites you the most?
It's hard to get information on the Arcturians.
The idea of the Arcturus vibration is simply that which aligns you into remembering more of who you are. The Arcturians, as you call them, don't exist as a race in the way you think of it. They're a non-physical collective consciousness that is giving off aid and assistance by radiating a specific frequency that, if you choose to align with it, will actually give you a better capacity to see more clearly who it is you truly are on a larger level.
So as long as I just stay with the love that's rising, I'll gravitate to the one that resonates the most with me.
Always, 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 as we say, the key is to use excitement as the information being delivered to you by the higher mind that describes the next step on your path. Excitement is communication from the higher mind telling you this is the next thing to take action on. That's why you feel that passion, that excitement. That's an actual communication translated by your body from the higher mind, that this is the next direction to go in. It's guiding you like a searchlight. You feel that light in the form, in the vibration you call excitement, passion, creativity, love, joy. Yes?
Yes, but I feel that the Vajra Ascension channel, you said, well, it's something more or less that I've created that I resonate with, but you could say that I created you as well. I mean, I feel like it's as real as you are.
All right. Remember that every single belief system carries with it in its structure the idea of perpetuating and reinforcing itself to make any other belief seem to be less likely. Otherwise, if a belief didn't do that, you wouldn't be able to focus on the experience that that belief has to offer. So of course, other things are not going to seem as real as the belief you're focused on. But as soon as you change your belief, then the new belief will seem real and the other ones will no longer seem real. So they'll all be real at some point, and they're all just as unreal at the same time. Remember, there are only really 5 facts in existence, if you want to call them this. Only 5 descriptions of the actual structure of existence, what we call the 5 laws. You exist. There is nothing you can do to change that. Nothing. Go ahead, try. I'm waiting. You exist. Everything is here and now. The one is the all are the one. What you put out is what you get back. Every single thing changes except the laws. Everything else is a combination in some way, shape, or form of those 5 facts. Every experience you have is your ball game, your way of interpreting, rearranging, and experiencing those 5 facts. And that's it.
Do you happen to have a copy of the laws?
I just told them to you.
Oh, that's the laws.
That is the 5 laws. You exist. You see, when we say law, we mean with a capital L, meaning there is absolutely nothing you can do to undo that law. Such things that you call, the speed of light and so on and so forth, the laws of physics and so on and so forth. Well, yes, in your local area they may seem like laws, but they're just local conditions. They're not true everywhere, in every dimension, on every level of reality. But the 5 laws are true everywhere, for everyone, every when, every how. Everything. You exist. You can't do anything to change that. Everything is here and now. You can't do anything to change that. The one is the all are the one. You can't do anything to change that. What you put out is what you get back. You can't do anything to change that. Everything changes and you can't do anything to change that. And that's it. Those are the 5 laws. Those are the 5 facts. Those are the 5 descriptions of the structure of existence itself. Everything else, every other experience, anywhere, everywhere, anywhere, any when, is based on those 5 facts and is an interpretation, a rearrangement, an interposition, a perspective shift of those 5 facts. And that's it. So everything is your projection. Everything is your creation. Everything is your reflection based on those 5 laws.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think so. Good day, Bashar.
And you good day.
So good to connect to you in this way. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Yeah. So I want to discuss one of our darker expressions, one of our demons.
How exciting.
Yes. And I want to talk a little bit about anger, which can give way to aggression and violence that we have in our culture.
Yes. Although, what we might call natural anger only lasts about 15 seconds. Beyond that, it's self-judgment. That's the kind of anger you're actually talking about that causes the difficulties.
Right.
But let's also use a new term here. Because the idea of what we're referring to as natural anger is really just resonance alignment. When you experience something or are exposed to something that you really are vibrationally incompatible with, that you do not resonate to, you will feel that resonant reflection. Yes. And you will say, I am aligned with this or I am not. And in that moment, that's all you need to know. And that lasts about 15 seconds. Anything beyond that, you usually then get into all sorts of belief systems and value judgments and all sorts of other things, which is something else completely different. But go on to say what you're going to say, and then I will tell you something also that is very powerful with respect to this so-called emotion of anger or resonance alignment.
Yeah, I think what I want to know is there something that we can learn on our kind of transition into a more evolved way of being? You know, you're farther along on that path, and I guess I want to know if your culture experiences anger, if you guys experience or express violence or aggression, and if you do, or even if you don't, how did you move through that, and what could we learn from that so that in this transition we can have a more, I don't know, evolved or constructive way of dealing with that kind of resonance, that energy that we tend to express violently and destructively, at least at this time.
I am angry that you asked.
All right, so you do feel it.
No, I'm kidding. No,
well, I'm curious,
do not
actually.
Experience the idea that you call anger in the way that you mean it. No. We experience resonant alignment, yes. However, let us introduce a new idea first and foremost before we go on. There is a phrase that exists in your storytelling structure that is actually representative of an emotion, even though most of you don't think of it as such. The idea of this resonance alignment, when you see something that is vibrationally incompatible, when there is some kind of resonance there, that you say, I wish to do something about this. It's called a call to action. Mm-hmm. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's not a judgment, it's not a value judgment, but it's a recognition that something must be acted on in order to express the idea of the alignment that you feel in contrast or comparison to the misalignment you perceive. And that emotion, that natural resonant realignment or comparison, rather than actually being referred to now as natural anger that lasts 15 seconds, is actually capable of being described as what might be called a new emotional label, a new emotional definition. And that new emotion is a call to action. Do you understand?
Yeah, I like that. I feel that.
All right. Now, here's something else that's a very, very, very powerful tool. You have a word for it, but many of you don't actually understand what it is. Forgiveness. You follow me? Mm-hmm. What is forgiveness? I'll tell you. Thank you. This is what forgiveness as a state of being is actually vibrationally, mechanically doing. When you go into a state of forgiveness, you are forgiving yourself, you are forgiving others. Yes?
Yes.
It actually is a vibration that has the ability to actually neutralize the negative consequences of a negative choice someone may have made. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. You know that everything you choose to do will have in physical reality some form of consequence, some form of outcome. Even in what you call the afterlife, you've heard the term the life review.
Yes.
You will look back at your life and you will experience all of the consequences of the choices you made from the point of view of anyone who was ever in any way, shape, or form choosing to be affected by anything that you did, as if you were them. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, forgiveness of self and forgiveness of others can actually neutralize the experience of a consequence generated through a negative act. So that even in physical life and even in the life review, if that gets canceled out by forgiveness, the person will not have to experience the consequence of a choice they made that might have had a negative consequence. This is the actual interpretation and meaning when people in religious contexts say that a being like Jesus took away your sins. It means when that being said, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do, he was offering you the vibrational teaching that forgiveness can actually neutralize the consequence of a negative choice so that you wouldn't have to experience what it was the people of the time were doing to him as a negative act. He forgave you all for all time. Do you understand?
Yes.
That has the profound effect of allowing you to be free to forgive yourselves and others and come back into alignment. This is where we began our understanding and practice of neutrality for any kind of consequence of a choice that might have been negative in our ancient past. That, combined with the understanding and awakening into the idea that is most often referred to as lucidity. You know that you can have what you call lucid dreams, where you, in a sense, kind of wake up in the dream and know that you're dreaming, yes?
Yes.
That lucidity can actually be compounded on, magnified, built upon. When you are aware, when you're dreaming in the dream state that you're dreaming and become lucid in the dream, you can start to control the dream. You can decide what happens in the dream. You can rearrange it. You can make things happen that otherwise might simply have run on automatic. But further than that, in the lucid state, in the dream state, you can actually go to the barrier between the physical and the non-physical experience that we refer to as the template level or blueprint level reality, where all the things that you experience in physical reality are actually determined by you ahead of time in the energetic blueprint level, and then they manifest in physical reality in time. You understand?
Yes.
But when you're lucid in the dream state, you can go to the blueprint and you can change the blueprint and actually change what you experience in your physical reality when you wake up. And that's what we discovered, is that the more we became lucid in the dream state and were able to change the actual template level, the more we became lucid in the physical dream.
Yes.
And thus, very quickly in our society, there was no difference anymore, or at least not anywhere near as much difference between the idea of the physical reality and the dream reality. And that's why now we no longer sleep. We no longer eat. We are always awake in the dream and always dreaming. The paradox is that we realize that when you go to sleep and have dreams at night, you're actually waking up. And when you wake up in the morning in physical reality, you're actually going to sleep. When you start realizing that you never actually leave, for lack of a better term, the spirit reality, you never leave heaven, if you want a metaphor. You never, ever, ever leave that state. That's your natural state. You are all only dreaming that you've left. But you're still there, having this dream there. You understand?
I do.
You've all gone to sleep in heaven and are dreaming you're in hell.
Yes. Can I ask about that hell for a moment?
Now, again, I'm being a little bit facetious because obviously life on earth can be heaven on earth. The key is that you are awakening to the fact that you can allow it to be so by letting go of the fears that generate the physical dream to seem so nightmarish. You're the ones creating the nightmares. You're the ones creating physical reality to be difficult, to be the hell on earth because of the negative definitions that you're buying into as true. As soon as you start buying into a different truth, it doesn't invalidate the truth that was there before, but it now allows you to experience a preference of a different truth that is more in alignment with your natural state and removes you from the illusion that you are out of control or that reality is happening to you instead of the truth, which is it's happening through you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is this helping?
Very much. Can I ask a follow-up on that?
Absolutely.
So speaking of dreams, and this, like even this negative vibration of anger or hurt or pain.
Self-judgment. Self-loathing. Self-denial. Self-diminishment. Self-depreciation. I'm not worthy. Mea culpa.
Yes. Now, I often find in my dreams that tend to be very intense. Everything feels like the volume has been turned up.
Yes.
So often my dream experience is more intense than this one. Like my emotional body.
That's because that actually is more real.
Yeah. Well, yes. And I guess I'm confused or I don't quite understand why I often wake up in dreams that are so, like, if I'm angry in a dream, I'm in a rage. If I'm sad, I'm depressed and the world's ending. All right,
well, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
Would you rather experience that in physical reality?
No, I mean, I'd rather have it the way I have it.
Exactly. And that's why.
But I don't know.
You're working all these things out on a level where you know it's safer to do so.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
And that's okay. That means by the time you wake up,
it's done.
It's done. You've cleared it. You've worked on it. You've come to some conclusion. You've redefined and reinvented yourself as a new person.
But am I clearing it?
And it's the new person that's waking up.
But is that what's happening? Am I clearing it or am I just perpetuating it? Because it happens a lot.
What do you think?
I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking.
What would you prefer that it be doing?
Well, I'd prefer that I be working through it because I want to be resonating at a higher
vibration. Then what
vibration.
beliefs are you holding on to that would make you think otherwise is the question to look into.
Right.
Yes?
Yes.
So when you look into that and find out if you're holding on to any definitions that make it seem as if it's just perpetuating instead of clearing, then as soon as you clear those, you'll know you're clearing.
Got it. I like that.
You see the paradox in
I
this?
do.
The lovely, lovely paradox? That's how it works.
Yeah, yeah. All right, one more brief question.
Yeah.
So as a child, I was often afraid of the dark. And
Yes.
Even as an adult, I sometimes experience this, and it's often an experience, and I don't know if I'm making it all up, but it feels like another presence or something else is there.
There are many other presences that will come in contact with many of you from time to time, and if you've been raised to think of things in a certain way, you may experience a little bit of fear in those encounters because you recognize that you're shifting to another reality that your physical mind isn't really prepared to interpret. And therefore it starts to feel out of control and it starts to generate the idea of survival vibrations, but there's really nothing to fear.
Right. I guess how, is there a way that I can, I'm
there
actually
are many ways.
Excited about it because it feels like I'm about to be aware of something that's...
Understand that you are playing your part. Understand and remember that you made an agreement to play a part. Ask for more clarity so that you can play your part more clearly and allow yourself to participate in a more conscious way, and the fears will diminish.
Thank you.
Yes?
Yes, thank you, Bashar.
Does that help?
It does.
Pleasant dream.
Yeah, thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And you good day.
Well, thank you. I have 3 questions.
Oh, all right. We don't know if we have 3 answers, but please proceed.
I suspect you have more than 3 answers.
Perhaps. We never know until we need them.
Okay. The first question relates to the interface between the individual versus the collective reality.
Yes.
And so specifically, you've spoken in previous transmissions about spaceships, landing, etc., disclosure, things like that.
Yes.
And what I'll call the collective reality in certain time frames for things to happen. And I guess my question is, what I don't understand, if as I'm choosing alternate realities individually, what's the interface between those two? Because if I'm ready to see individuals from other planets, etc., what difference does it make when the majority of people on this planet will see that?
The difference that you're talking about is the idea of remembering that as you change your energy, you're actually shifting to another parallel reality that is more in keeping with the vibrational change you've made within yourself. Therefore, as a new individual, you're acting with a new collective that may be more representative and more ready of the idea you're talking about experiencing.
Okay, so the time frames that you've given for the collective for experiences like that's just a general time frame?
Is a general overall probability time frame for how we perceive the idea of the shifting that's going on within all the individuals will be more in alignment with a collective reality on that vibratory level.
And there will be individual differences within that.
Of course. But nevertheless, we are talking in general probabilities here.
Okay.
Does that help?
That helps.
All
Thank
right.
you. Second question.
Yes.
I'm curious about what you would say about human sexuality.
Yes.
And also, some people know, some people don't know, dolphins are very sexual.
Yes, many animals are, including humans.
Correct. So I'm wondering what you would like to say on that topic.
What, in 25 words or less?
Exactly.
Is that not a topic that you yourselves have devoted books and books and books to? Sexuality obviously serves a function. It can serve many different kinds of functions. But we will say this most of all. When done within integrity, when done from a place of unconditional love, when done from a vibration of your true self, it can be a physiological act of bonding and a physiological act of connection, not only to each other in many ways, but to many levels of your own consciousness and to source itself. But of course, it depends on how it's done. It depends on with what intent you do it. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help? Or is there some other direction you wish to proceed
No, I think that's
all right.
That's quite sufficient for that.
All right. Well, we weren't sure if you were asking us on a date. And third?
You'd have to speak to my girlfriend about that.
All right.
Okay, the third one is about what many people here would call starseeds, individuals that have previous existences on other planets.
Well, simultaneous existences on other planets,
correct,
so to speak.
Yes.
Simultaneous connections to existences on other planets going on right now, even though some of them may be called the past or the future from your linear perspective.
So the question, I guess, is how common is that? And very common. Okay,
yes.
So with most...
all of you, every single one of you, have connections to other realities, other dimensions that you are downloading information and energy from. The concept of the starseed really isn't so much a description of the specific physical nature of these connections or the mechanical arrangement of these connections, because you all have it. The idea of the starseed is the degree of awareness you have of those connections as they exist. Does that make sense?
Yes. And what's the significance of being more aware of that?
It's more reflective of the idea of a holistic point of view, that you are seeing more of yourself simultaneously in much similar fashion to what we described in the chess analogy of seeing many moves ahead simultaneously, seeing many parallel realities all at once, which gives you a greater sense of what you as a being actually are. And thus then you can draw consciously upon more of those connections and apply those connections and the information you download from them more effectively in your physical reality here, even as many of those connections are drawing upon you and other connections to download information that serves them in their incarnational experiences.
Excellent.
Yes?
That's helpful. May I ask one other thing?
That was a question.
So we're up to 4. Can I go for 5?
That was another question. Would you like to try for 6? Just ask the question.
Scanning my energy, is there anything that you would like to say to me or that you would find helpful, that I would find helpful personally?
Are you acting on your highest excitement to the best of your ability every moment that you possibly can with no assumptions or insistence or expectation to the outcome?
Mostly.
That means no. Therefore, I would ask you to survey and investigate those areas of your life where you are holding back. For it is those areas you need to look at, and in discovering what it is that you are choosing to hold yourself back with, you will discover ways of releasing those things and becoming even fuller.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I was going to ask you a question about what I was not seeing, what I was not accepting, or what I haven't learned.
But I just answered it, didn't I?
Yes.
How synchronous of us.
So now that leaves me without a question. I just wanted to check in and make
sure.
sure.
You can make a statement. I will tell you a secret we have told to a few other people, and that is sometimes when you choose to make a statement instead of asking a question, you actually open up more doors that we can access more information through.
Then I would love to make a statement.
Then make a statement.
And my statement is that I've discovered that the reason my physical health is not all it can be is because I've been stubborn and not doing my work with the full joy, with no expectation of outcome.
And why have you chosen to do that up to this point? What have you been afraid of, in other words?
Exposure.
Exposure! You mean you're going to be naked?
Well, not physically, but yes.
And what is wrong with allowing people to know who you are?
They come after you.
They do?
They do.
And what does that have to do with what you experience in your life?
Wow.
You want help with that answer?
Yes, sir.
Nothing. It has nothing to do with anything if you choose to see it that way. You understand?
I do, yes.
There will always, for a time, on your world, in the way you experience it, there will always, for a time, be those who will not like what you have to say, who will not allow you to be you. You know why? Because when you are being you as fully as you can, you are a constant reminder to those who are not being themselves that they are not being themselves, and they don't like being reminded of that.
I got it.
You understand?
I do, yes.
But that is the greatest service you can actually provide them, because at least by example, you're giving them an opportunity to see through you that they could choose to be more fully themselves, even if they don't choose to. By not being yourself, you are removing that opportunity from them. You are only reinforcing their choice to be afraid to be themselves. So at first they may rebel against seeing an example, because by coming from a negative state, they only see the idea in a negative way. In other words, they're saying, you're rubbing my nose in what it is I am too afraid to do, and I resent you for that. Good impression, yes? And so the idea is that they're coming from a negative state to begin with, and so that's the only way they can see it. But the more you are yourself, the more unconditionally compassionate and loving you will be. And maybe, just maybe, eventually, they will get tired of being such curmudgeons and will actually say, you know, she has something going for her. It's working for her. Maybe it will work for me. And then you have given them an opportunity to make a different choice. But if you withhold that, you're only reinforcing the same fear and saying, it's all right to stay there. I'm there too. Misery loves company.
Well, I'm going to say wow, because now I feel like a really big hypocrite.
No.
Well, no, one of the things I teach all the time to all of the people I work with is when you show up for yourself,
yes,
you give others the opportunity to show up for themselves.
Absolutely.
And you said the same thing, only better. And
just different.
Okay, well, different. And
every single one of you is a gift. Do not deprive others of the gift of your being. You know the story, many of you perhaps, of the idea of the people sitting around a pot with different pictures on it. Do you know that story?
I do not.
A tribe is sitting around a large cooking pot, and on the cooking pot are painted many different kinds of images of their history. And as they sit around and sharing the meal, each one of them says what it is they are seeing the particular image of on their side of the pot. But if the person on the other side of the pot doesn't share their image, you don't have the whole history. You don't have the complete picture. You're leaving something out and depriving others of understanding their heritage.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
So, say what's on your side of the pot, so everyone can share the meal and enjoy the feast. Yes?
Yes.
Sound like fun?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to be in your energy again, Bashar.
Well, thank you. Good day to you.
Thank you. I'm going to choose to speak technical today.
Technical. All right.
So,
Talk tech.
Continuing from our previous conversation earlier this year, I'm left with questions about gravity.
Yes.
And about the nested capacitor design.
Yes.
So we spoke about the prime radiant.
Yes.
And its relationship to the...
You've just lost half the audience.
You wish to explain then?
Prime radiant, very briefly, is simply the idea that if you imagine, and this is just an analogy, imagine a single particle in all of existence. If you wish, imagine one tiny little subatomic particle in a big black void. Nothing else exists. This one tiny particle, because it's the only thing, has no rules. It can go as fast as it wants. If it travels thus then at infinite speed throughout this black void, in whatever pattern it wishes, it will appear to be many particles all at once, because it's going so fast, it can appear next to itself over and over and over again at the same time. This is how reality is structured, and that's why you literally are made of the same thing that everyone and everything else is. This is the prime radiant idea from our civilization. Please continue.
Correct. So you spoke about structure.
Yes.
And in our conversation, we related the prime radiant to gravity.
In a sense, yes, there is an aspect of that, obviously, that creates what you experience as gravity, yes.
Okay, so in the idea of the fabric of space and time,
Yes.
gravity appears to be an energy of high vibrational quality.
Yes.
Why? Because it bends it,
Well, so to speak, yes.
at least to our modern day scientists. And it's still very misunderstood.
Oh, yes.
Or highly non-understood.
Yes.
So could you expand on a little more on the nature of gravity, how to create it, handle
Yes.
it, harness it, and manipulate it?
Turn around and look at the holotope. Do you see the holotope?
Yes.
Do you see the geometric pattern?
The fractal, yes.
Do you see where the lines cross each other and where they don't?
Yes.
The idea is that where the lines cross each other the most is what you call the crystallization of energy down into matter. The idea is that the relationship of those nodal points is gravity. Do you understand this analogy?
Yes.
Then there you go. Allow yourself to understand how the nodal points are reflective of the matrix in which the material exists, and you will understand how to stretch and bend those nodal points according to certain geometric patterns, such as Fibonacci spirals. So when you understand the idea of Fibonacci spirals and how they overlap and create overlapping nodal points and cross each other again and again and again in certain ways and expand in certain ways, you will understand everything you need to know about the ideas of gravity, about the ideas of dark matter, about the ideas of dark energy, and why what you call your physical universe seems to be accelerating instead of slowing down. One example. If you understand the idea of taking a Fibonacci spiral in one direction and a Fibonacci spiral in the opposite direction, you will understand that the spirals where they cross and cross again and cross again and cross again will be constantly farther and farther and farther and farther and farther apart. Yes?
Correct.
Well, if you understand that that's representative of the expansion of your universe, you will understand that that's why it's accelerating, because the idea of the spiral is it has to cover more distance to reach the next nodal point. By being that particular kind of curve, it does so. And in your space-time reality, that translates out to the idea of greater distance over the same time equals acceleration. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Then there you go. Learn the vibrational state of those Fibonacci spiral nodal points, and you will understand the relationship of gravity to matter, and you will understand the idea of how to manipulate the vibrations in order to manipulate gravity's relationship to matter. That's one way to approach it. There are several ways, but that's the way that we are talking about right here in terms of the idea of geometric structure.
Okay. You spoke about the vibrational nature of matter just now. And that actually leads to my second question.
Oh, all right.
So when we spoke, you mentioned that in order for an object to go from location A to location B,
yes,
all we would need to do would be to
change the locational variable of the object itself.
Which is vibration.
Location, it is a frequency within an energy equation, a signature vibration. Because location is not somewhere that an object exists in. Location is one of the properties of the object. And the object here and the object here are actually two different objects, because of the change and difference in the locational variable within the overall energy equation of that so-called object.
So in the present day, how can we measure that vibrational frequency?
Get a very, very, very flat table that's at least 6 to 10 feet long. Very flat. Take a very thin copper ball, about 3 inches, 4 inches in diameter, hollow, very thin, as perfectly round as you can make it. Put it at one end of the table. Strike it and get it to vibrate, or vibrate it through some other means. Measure those vibrations as precisely as you can. Then move the ball to the other end of the table and repeat that measurement. Find the difference in those two measurements. If your instruments are sensitive enough, you will ultimately discover the difference in those two frequencies. And when you do, then you can put the ball back in position A, and then either acoustically or electromagnetically or any way you wish, bombard it, overwhelm it, in a sense, with the vibrational frequency that is specific to the other end of the table, when the object was there, and you will see that the object will at least, if not disappear from here and wind up over there instantaneously, it will at least roll across the table to its new position and stop. And you will have begun to learn to chart the idea of that vibrational matrix map, which is what we use, and impose it over the idea of the physical reality, so that we understand, like a C chart, what the vibrational coordinates are for all the locations we wish to go to. Thus, then we isolate our ship in an electromagnetic gravitational bubble, unlock it from any particular reality, impose upon it the vibrational locational equation of where we wish to go, and thus then when we remove the bubble, pop, we disappear from there, and pop, we appear at our destination. Ultimately, you can do it that way, but begin with something like this experiment and allow your imagination to be your guide to alter it in whatever way, shape, or form you so desire. But as soon as your instruments are sensitive enough to tell the difference in the vibration of an object in two different locations, you'll be on your way to charting the vibrational map of the universe.
Perfect.
All right?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.